Recently, I've been looking at many different Tears of the Kingdom videos and rewatching all the trailers that came out for the game. And if you have watched my previous video, I'll link it right in the top right there. You may know that I think Tears of the Kingdom will be the end of the timeline of The Legend of Zelda, effectively making it the end of the series. And I still think that this is the case, but after looking and thinking about it a bit, I think that there could be another possible outcome. It's a bit similar, where I still think that the curse is lifted, but I think the ending is slightly different. Tears of the Kingdom will be the end of the timeline, but it will also cause a universal reset of the entire Legend of Zelda timeline. Not a loop, but a full reset. Yeah, basically they're pulling a Made in Heaven, and demise is Poochie. Before we begin, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and also make sure to comment, because the last video, you guys smashed it with the comments, and I like to keep that conversation going. So make sure that you subscribe, comment, so I can reply back to you. Tell me what you think. If I'm right, if I'm wrong, I don't know. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So to start off, I want to really talk about why I even think that it's a loop in the first place. And before we do all that, I want to kind of like lay the groundwork with the difference between a loop and a reset. So a loop is more of a exact one-to-one replay of events. For example, let's say you're playing Sonic the Hedgehog 1 on the OG Sega Genesis, and you go into a special stage, and then you lose the special stage. So that means you restart the game, and you try it again, and then you lose again, and then you lose again. So you keep pressing the reset button, and you keep looping it, because you're shit at the game, and those special stages are shit! The main theme is that you keep looping back to the beginning of the game, and you keep playing it over and over again. But essentially, it's the same game. Nothing really changes about what happens. A reset is the events play out, but they play out differently. Like, characters can have the same names, they can have the same friends, they can have, the same personality, but their names could be different, their lives could be completely different. And the best way to describe it is like Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's still going through the same events of the original, but things are different. The story of 7 Remake is not entirely the same. So it's more of a restart rather than a loop. Now that we get that out of the way, let's look at why I even think that it's a reset in the first place. In a lot of the trailers, there's been this logo that's behind the Legend of Zelda logo itself, right? And if we look at it, it first just look like a glowy circle, right? Oh, it looks so nice. It's just like energy, right? But if we take a closer look, it's actually 2 snakes eating each other's tails. And if you are familiar with like mythology and anything like that, you would know that is an Ouroboros. Now you'll be asking me, whoa, what is an Ouroboros? And why is this Rayquaza looking motherfucker so important? Well, in legend and in myth, an Ouroboros is a symbol of endlessness, or a loop. Now, this logo is not the only place where this symbol shows up. We can see this in one of the temple doors that Link opens up in one of the trailers, right? Before he jumps off and flies into the sky. The difference is the one on the door only has 1 snake, but the one on the logo has 2 snakes. And I think that's very intentional because it's very telling about the story. The reason that there's only 1 snake on the door is because it's supposed to represent the loop of Legend of Zelda, the curse that Demise put on Zelda and Link, where basically they're cursed to loop this conflict over and over and over again. That's why there's only 1 snake. But on the logo, the reason that there's 2 snakes is because that second snake is supposed to represent Link, and in this game he's trying to fight back against the loop to try to break the curse. And what I think is gonna happen is, in the end of the game, the reset is gonna happen. Link isn't able to fully stop the complete, the start over of the entire universe and timeline, but he's able to make it a reset, where basically what's gonna happen is Demise has to die. First things first, but Demise has to die for this to even work, because without him in this timeline, let's go JoJo rules, okay? Let's look at the JoJo rules, how I'm kind of basing this theory off of. In JoJo, characters who die in the original timeline don't show up in the old timeline, and if they do, they might be similar to those characters, but they're going to be completely different people. For example, all of the main cast, Jolene, Jotaro, Aramis, Anastasia, they're all dead, so they don't show up as their own self in the new timeline. But Emporio, he survived, so he stays as his own self. Poochie, I guess he's the one exception. He doesn't show up. So taking those rules into consideration, Demise dies, which means he never shows up in the new resetted universe. But we have characters like, let's say Zelda is like a very popular theory. Zelda dies. Let's say she does die, right? Let's say in this new universe, Link, Zelda, and all these supporting characters that we come to know and love throughout the entire Zelda universe, they restart. They're still friends. They still have their same personalities. They can still be friends, but their lives will be completely different, right? You know, Link isn't the hero of legend. Zelda may not even be Hylia, because Hylia would never have a reason to reincarnate, because Demise never existed. So, you know, they could have normal lives. They'll never have to, like, fight Ganondorf or Demise ever again. Now, I'm not saying that there won't be any evil. Like, of course, there may be, like, some dude to show up, like, try to take over Hyrule again, but it won't be Ganondorf. It maybe won't be as great of a scale as, you know, we've seen with recent games. Now, why would there be a loop in the first place? Why would the universe even reset in the first place? You may be asking me. Because I'm just saying stuff. Why even why I think it's a loop and not a reset? So why do I think? What's the cause of all this? I think it's because Demise or Ganondorf, whichever, pick your poison, wants to reset the universe so that he can get a second shot of, you know, destroying Hyrule and reclaiming Hyrule. Well, not reclaiming. He never had it. More like destroying Hyrule and claiming Hyrule. And basically what he wants to do is, in this old timeline, the Tears of the Kingdom game, he wants to kill Link and Zelda so that when he loops the universe, they don't exist. So that basically no one's standing in his way, you know, Link is not standing in his way, or Hylia is never standing in his way. And we see, remember, the Master Sword is broken. So if we're assuming that this idea of characters transferring occurs with items, we could also assume that the Master Sword doesn't carry over to the new universe. So there's the sword that sealed him away no longer exists, so he's never sealed away. I talked about how TOTK is coming full circle, right, with all the parallels to Skyward Sword. But like, if you look at it and you think about it, Breath of the Wild, if you look at Breath of the Wild, it has a reference to a lot of games in the past Zelda timeline, right? We have, if you look in Gerudo Desert, the Arbiter's Ground is there from Twilight Princess. There is an item called Rock Salt that references the Great Sea from Wind Waker, and there's a place literally called the Breach of Demise, where, as the name implies, was where Demise breached from the ground from the underworld to try to destroy Hyrule. And basically what I think is happening, and what I'm pretty sure the community has agreed on, is that over time, all of these different timelines, because remember, an Ocarina of Time is split into 3 different timelines. So I guess we've been in the Breath of the Wild storyline for so long, for I think it was like 10,000 years or 1,000 years, that we've been, all these timelines just merged back together into one. So now the Breath of the Wild timeline becomes one. Everything from all the different timelines comes back to one in the Breath of the Wild timeline. You know, this is coming back to the idea of the Ouroboros, why it's such a prominent symbol in the game and the game's marketing and structures, right? Demise wants a loop in the timeline. Demise represents one of the snakes, right? And he represents the one snake on the door, where he wants a loop and nothing to change, where he controls everything, right? Like the curse he put on Link and Zelda. The second snake, which is Link, represents his fight back to try to stop Demise, to try to stop the loops from ever happening again, right? And I think what's gonna happen is, in this endeavor, he's gonna stop it, and like I said before, everyone gets a new life, everyone gets a new everything. I know this sounds like a hell of a reach, but I feel like it's such a there's some stuff that in here that kind of point out that there is gonna be some type of loop or reset. I hope that it's not a loop where it just goes right back to Skyward Sword. To me, that would not feel satisfying. I feel like that would just feel like everything that culminated in the entire Zelda franchise just amounted to nothing, because Demise's curse is still in effect, and it will continue to be in effect forever. The series will just continue to be a loop. This kind of like just a random. This kind of reminds me of Evangelion almost, because definitely not with like the themes and stuff, but like Evangelion's story, and this was like confirmed in the last movie, like 3.0 plus 1.0. The story loops, right? Like, for example, we have the manga, we have the anime, we have the movie series. Everything, all those is canon, right? But they're all loops of the story, right? Basically, it's the same events play out, but they play out differently. And when the loop breaks is when the characters finally like agree to like stop looping. I don't remember exactly what happens, but something happens, they break the loop, and they become like they break the curse of Evangelion, where basically they finally become adults and they live normal lives without angels, without Evangelion, without anything. And I feel like I see this kind of similarity in parallel with what's going to happen with this game, where Link and Zelda try to break the curse that has plagued them for centuries. So that's why I feel like this game will either end with a reset, or just in the curse being broken, or just the curse being broken. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment like I said before. I just want to say, yo, y'all are crazy, bro. My video, as of right now, is sitting at 1,100 views. That's crazy. To me, I never thought, I'm gonna sound mad corny right now, but I never thought in my life I would be able to reach that many people and talk to this many people about something that I enjoy, right? So I just want to say thank you so much. I promise I will bring you more quality content. I just want to say this is gonna be my last, well, not my last Zelda video. I'm good. You know, I was making all these Zelda videos because I was just thinking about it. I'm gonna definitely make a new video style. Well, not. I'm gonna make another video in like a week. This is just a little filler video I wanted to make for y'all. Also, I had this theory in my mind I wanted to get out to you guys. The next video is gonna be nice, good video. I'm really excited about the next video I'm making. So make sure to turn on notifications so that you don't miss it. And until then, I'll see you on the next one. Take care and peace.